So, James, how has the experience been so far for you?
It's been an absolute great experience, other than the experience of trying to recharge the car. It's one of those cars, I believe, should have a good charger at home, depending on where you are. Now, I live between Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and that is a necessity, I think, for getting the car charged.
Yeah.
But the experience overall is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
It still says Audi to me. It still has a more or less standard, instead of reinvented interior.
What do you think of the design? I think the exterior is quite sexy.
I do.
But if I were to buy a sedan and I looked around at design, I think this kind of tops it all.
It does. I mean, it has a very masculine appearance to it, but at the same time, if you look at it from the side, you start to get a slightly more feminine look at the car.
Yeah.
Because it does have some nice curvy lines. But the back end is very butch, and it seems to show its muscle on the two rear wings, with those extra lines in the top there. It looks nice in the light, in the evenings with the shades underneath those lines.
Yeah. I drove this car in LA, and we went up the mountains with a couple of Muslim journalists, and these were jury from around the world, and you could see that no matter what car they were in, when we reached a plateau with all our cars and we were all driving different cars, they all stopped, and each person wanted a photo with the car because they thought, the design looked good, even though they all had a chance to drive it. It was really good. Like, I enjoyed the experience because I drove through the city of LA as well as up in the mountains, so that it didn't feel like I was like, some people think, oh, it's an electric car, maybe it's not as powerful, and those ideas are so old school now. It's I drove a few EVs in LA, and they were all fantastic.
Yeah, and the one thing I have noticed driving the car, especially down the highway, because generally you're cruising. You've got to be careful with speed because it will pick up very quickly.
Yeah,
but you're generally cruising, and people do slow down.
Yeah.
They want to know what it is. Obviously, it's brand new on the road.
Exactly.
What's this new Audi? But people sort of come to the side, then they'll slow back down again to get a quick look at the car.
Exactly.
And when you stop at any of the stations, obviously there's no fuel here, but when you stop at the station for a quick drink or whatever, there's already somebody stood there looking at the car, wondering what it is.
Yeah. And it's pretty easy, it ticks all the boxes in terms of technology as well. And I think Audi's been really good with technology from day one. I own an Audi as well. It's one of my cars, and I just find it such a joy that they think of little things. And then, with this car particularly, I think I loved it. I loved the technology and the space. I sat at the back as well.
Yes,
when I had
ample space in there. You can feel about 6 foot.
Very comfortable. Very, very comfortable.
And a lot of people would be dubious of the lower roof, but the seats, they're not theatred seats, so they're actually sit down into the car a bit more.
I love the colors. I had a white one, so I didn't have the same colors, but I love this combination of red and black. I think it gives it that extra edge.
Yeah.
And I think also a very sporty feel as well.
Red cars are always faster cars, as they say.
Well, that's my menopause car. I keep telling people the minute, I'll have something red, something small, something with an open top, to get the heat off.
We've got this nice moon roof, but
yes,
brilliant for going through the city and watching the towers.
Yeah. It definitely is a city car, if you look at it, just for the views. But then it could also work just as well in nature.
Yeah, I mean the miles on here, or kilometres, is 472 on full charge. Yeah. If you're living in the city, that's ample for getting around to then leave it on charge at home or whatever it is. GT wise, I think so long as the infrastructure was there, that would, I think, get you into Saudi or somewhere like that from here. Yeah, with the right things in place.
And the speed. You know,
The
you
speed
kind
is
of wish you
phenomenal,
had
yeah.
this car in a place like an autobahn type place where
Yeah.
there was absolutely no limits, you
Mhm.
know, and then you can really put the foot on the pedal.
You can, yeah. And obviously this one's a quattro, so
Yeah.
not being the same as a mechanical car
Mm-hmm.
with a full quattro system, they've still maintained that sticky nature. That
Yeah.
if you hit a bend a little bit too quickly, you know it's going to stick.
Yeah.
All four wheels are doing their thing to try and maintain the balance of the car. They've still got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, still,
I think it's fantastic. The exterior, like for me, I get into a car. The first thing I look at a car is the design, and then I look at the comfort, and then being a technology-driven person, you know, look, I also look at how easy is it, and how much of the artificial intelligence is incorporated with this, and the nice thing is that with Audi, they've been leading in that, you know.
And I've noticed in drive as well, there's a couple of smaller details. Whether this was meant to be or not, I don't know. So, for example, we've got a lane departure control on here. The safety comes in every single time.
Yeah.
If I let go of that steering wheel for any reason, and people shouldn't be asleep, shouldn't be touching their telephones, etc., but it will bring you back. It does it once.
Right.
It goes over to the other side,
Yeah.
it finds the light, and it brings you back twice, and then it gives you a nice warning.
Exactly.
Yeah. Basically, to put your hands back on the wheel and start watching where you're going. Yeah, so those things are good. And again, with the same thing, it fights you if you change lane until you indicate.
Yeah.
Once you indicate, it stops the fight.
Yeah, so
so
the
it's
lane
encouraging you,
management is really,
to actually put your indicators on.
Absolutely.
Which again is all safety conscious, isn't it?
I love the steering wheel as well. The leather, the red stitching on it, the shape. And then if you look at the sight lines of where you are sitting to that, it's just perfect.
The seat has a lot of movement. I mean, when they gave me the car, it was quite high, and I tend to like to come down in the seat, so my eyes are just above the steering wheel.
Right.
And that's where I've put it now. So yes, it's nicely placed. You can have your arms in a good position, so you know you're not overstretching if you hit corners and things.
Right.
You can get your legs in a nice position. There's plenty of movement here in the seat. Yeah. No, I love this.
Cool. I see you've
setup.
also got a place to put your phone, like, you know, in a vertical position. I struggle with some of the cars because while it's nice that they're focused on the design, they don't have vents and things where you can, you know, really have.
No, but on the other hand, you don't have to have it set up because everything is run by Bluetooth and it picks the phone up. They do put in.
Yeah, sometimes you want to see it on your phone. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have this extra comfort thing.
And so they do put. There's a couple of USB-Cs, but on the side here is a place to sort of drop your telephone. So if
and it fits. Yeah, I know it kind of cradles it to some
cradle
extent.
your phone somehow in here.
Yeah. And it doesn't.
And you can just leave it to the Bluetooth to go straight to the system.
Sure.
And the system is CarPlay as well. So if you've got the iPhones as such, you've got the CarPlay. And CarPlay is always upgrading their systems. And it's brilliant. Yeah.
And the piano keys as well. It's a mixture of both. You know, you've got the usual, the way the gears and everything work, but I kind of like the idea of having piano style set up for some of the features. It makes it look like Audi right now.
Yeah. I mean, most of it is here, which is nice. It's relatively intuitive. Some things are a little bit hidden in terms, and they've done that for a long time.
Also
regards
like,
to cruise
like
control.
this as well, the carbon fiber element. You know? It has that sports car feel because of that.
And I'm sure there's a lot of different surfaces you can have just to make it a little bit more feminine, I suppose. That's clear.
Exactly. Fantastic.
But otherwise,
So it pretty much ticks all the boxes. You've
I'd
got,
say it
and
does,
also you've got the EV. Like, I mean, you look at the current prices of petrol and everything. It makes you think, well, what choices do I have? You know, and you either go hybrid or you go EV. and then there are not that many choices that you have, that cars that look good and are green friendly.
The infrastructure is growing for EV. 50%, if not more, places to plug in for free anyway, because it's trying to encourage the system of EV cars in the city.
I think they need to also streamline it so that you can pretty much charge your car everywhere. Like, I'm a member of Shangri-La, so I'm pretty much there every single day. But the EV car bays are only for Tesla. You can't charge other electrical cars in there.
Well, you can charge these on a Tesla point.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's exactly the same plug as the Tesla point, and it runs the same.
But the thing is, they keep telling you, because I've been there with EV cars before, and they say, yeah, but if you don't have a Tesla, we will get fined if you park here, kind of thing, So I think, I think there needs to be like a streamlined thing where all the cars you should be allowed to charge anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that might stop you from charging from, say, a Tesla point, is the ECU identification. So when you plug it in, it will try to identify the car.
Right.
So some of the Tesla points will do that, and it may not want to charge you.
Maybe that's what the situation is there.
Yeah.
But I love the color. You've got such a good color.
It's nice, isn't it? Red.
It's fantastic.
When everybody's buying black and grey and white.
Against the desert backdrop, against the green backdrop. It just works with everything.
It stands out. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
And it looked nice. Just it sat there in front. I did a few photos in front of the Museum of the Future, as this is in partnership with them. For the next month or so. So when I put the car in front of the museum there, the red just stood out.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So once you got the lights on the car, it stood out. It's not like having a grey car and then is that black and white photo. Is that? The vibrance is already there. You don't need to put Photoshop on for vibrance. It doesn't work. It's already there.
So when you do the home button here, so if we go back to so it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You've got your navigation, radio, media, favorites. I wonder what that brings. Okay, so your favorite places you go and stuff, so you can store that. And then
settings are quite broad, because
you've got an entertainment section as well. Wow, fantastic.
It's all quite broad. I like that you can be quite creative with your dashboard. So the layout that comes up on the dashboard.
Do they have this? A lot of these cars have got ambient features as well.
I do not actually know that.
You can also have messages. Also, probably it does, because you see, if you look at the users, each one can have their own profile as well. So when you get in the car and you select your profile, things that are under your preferences comes up. That's always useful.
Yep, and there's the stereo, everything like that. It's very nice, comfy sound to the ears. It's very adjustable. Navigation is very clear. The phone is very clear. So when you're talking to someone through the microphones, they pick you up very well.
Okay. Fantastic. Cool.
Systems are great.
Yeah, well, it was good talking to you about that. It's nice to get a different perspective as well.
They certainly go in the next step with these cars. They really are.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really nice. Thank you for taking me around.
That's fine. Great bumping into you in the middle of Dubai. Always a pleasure.